I've quit 3 separate jobs in my life and I've never regretted one of them. And I want to speak about this today and the 3 lessons I learned just before I quit my very last salary paying job before pursuing the world of making money in the virtual online worlds. Before we go further into this video, I want you to ask yourself a question. What is the reason you are still at your current job? Is it for the money? Is it for the power, or is it for the purpose? Ask yourself that, maybe write down your answer on a pen and paper, and we're going to come back to this at the end of the video. So this is the story of the 3 lessons that I learned before quitting my $40,000 a year job. It wasn't in dollars, it was actually in dirhams, it was in Dubai, but you know, much of a muchness. And this is the story of that. Before we jump into it, if you don't know me already, my name's Connor, and I've made over 7 figures here in the online world. And I've made this channel to serve you guys with as much knowledge as I possibly can, because I want to help as many people as possible. With that said, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's jump straight into it. So all of the jobs that I quit in the past before the very last one were for various different reasons, for moving positions into other places that both fulfilled me more in my purpose and other times fulfilled me with more money, and other times less money but more purpose, and vice versa. But the very last time is what I want to focus this video on, and that was the one where I left my full salary job and moved into working for myself. The very first lesson I learned, which I wasn't aware of, was the abundance of money that is out there. Now, I'm sure if you've seen this video and you are searching for these sorts of videos online, you know full well about the abundance of money out there, and you've heard this from a number of different people. But this wasn't made clear to me until I received a message from a friend from university who has no idea this even happened. I think he was drunk or something at the time, I have no idea, but he randomly one day started messaging me about an Amazon FBA business he had started and how much money he had made. Now, this was the first time someone in my real world, someone very close to home to me, actually started and showed me that it was possible. Now, I've seen the videos at the time. I thought it was possible, but I didn't really know. I had all these different ideas and I suffered from something called analysis paralysis, which is where you spend way too much time trying to analyze everything and you just don't do anything. But when he messaged me about this e-commerce business he had started, that was it. It was like something clicked in my mind and I was like, wait, this is possible for someone who's exactly like me to do this. So I focused wholeheartedly on e-commerce and I found myself in drop shipping. And that was all at the same time as working my full-time job. So the first lesson in that was that someone just like myself can make an abundance of money. And that led me on to the second lesson, which was learning a skill that is outside of my job, that doesn't have a ceiling. Now, by that, I mean, in your current job, you can learn different things that may help you climb that ladder, but at the end of the day, there's still going to be a ceiling to that ladder, because even if you became the CEO, you still have a salary, and that's as high as you possibly go. And I'm not here to tell you that's the wrong path. If that is the path that you personally want to go on because you feel purpose in pursuing that, then do that. This life here that we have is all about feeling purpose and feeling happy and all of that sort of stuff. So don't just pursue it because you see everyone else on the internet doing it. Follow either of these paths in life for your own reasons. But the second lesson that I learned was I need to know this skill before I leave my job. Now, there are a lot of videos out there telling you to leave your job right away, but my lesson was learning the skill before I left. I started to make as much money as I was making in my current job drop shipping on the internet. When I saw that for a few months, I absolutely could not believe my eyes that it was even possible, right? It was an obscene amount of money. It was a few $1,000s, but an obscene amount of money that I was generating from the internet. And from there, that was when I decided to put in my resignation. Something very interesting happened about a month before I put in my resignation, and that was one of my friends left. He left the company and it was an all of a sudden thing. There was no warning, nothing like that. I was a performer, so this is a slightly different workplace environment than a 9-to-5 job, which I did also work in, which I did also quit in the past. But this specific job was performing on stage every single day, training every single day, being at work for more than 8 hours a day. But what happened was my friend left. It was all of a sudden, there was a reason behind it. It doesn't matter. He left the company, right? And this happened overnight. The company replaced him within 1 week. Replaced. No matter how skilled he was, no matter how much of an awesome person he was replaced within 1 week. And this kind of set a fire alight in my brain where I realized that not only am I completely replaceable in this company, but I can always come back to this environment if I ever needed to. So I learned that my friend who was in the same position as me is making a ton of money. I learned the skill necessary to hopefully make a ton of money myself. At the time, I wasn't. And thirdly, I learned that I'm completely replaceable, both myself in my job, but my job is also replaceable to me. There's always going to be another opportunity out there. So why not grab the opportunity of going out by myself right now while I still can? And at this point, I was around 29 years old. So I was in no way young, right? I know a lot of people on the internet are around 19 to 23 telling you guys to quit your job, and you might very well be the same age as me right now, 31. But I'm telling you from a position of, according to the internet, an old guy who did it, right? So it's definitely possible. So that's what I learned. I'm completely replaceable, and the job that I'm in is also replaceable for myself if I fail. So I handed in my resignation, and the rest was literally history. Within a few months, I was generating far more money than I ever was before in my job and from my e-commerce, because I could focus 100% of my time into these online businesses. And that was a game changer, right? When you go to spending a couple of hours a week on a side hustle to 10 to 12 hours a day, the growth is exponential, and it changed my life, right? It completely changed my life. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know full well why it's changed my life. But from here, I want you to go back to the question I asked you at the time. And this is where we decide whether or not it's good for you personally to resign from your job. Are you there for money, power, or purpose, right? So first of all, money. Can you generate the same amount of money doing something else? The answer is most likely yes, but you're going to need to go out and find that. Number two, power. Do you want to simply climb the ranks so you can have more power? The question I want you guys to ask yourself is, will I feel that power completely out of the system? This is something that you'll learn once you've left, right? But it's very obvious from the outside looking back in on a circumstance, all the stress, all the pain, all the anger, everything that's happening within the environment on your day-to-day things that aren't going quite well, or the anger that you feel towards your boss or whatever. When you come out of that environment, it's gone. It's gone. I feel nothing towards the people that were my bosses that I didn't totally get on with anymore. Makes no difference to me. I don't want to be in a position of power to them. I couldn't care less. So that's something, again, you have to answer yourself. And third of all, purpose. Now, this is the most interesting one. And the one thing that I can tell you right now is the hardest. You're not going to leave your job, make a bunch of cash, and suddenly feel purpose behind life. This is the hardest one. I am still yet to crack this perfectly. I'm still looking for the perfect amount of purpose. I felt just as much purpose in my job that I loved myself at the time as I do today. So that's something that you're going to have to answer yourselves. And hopefully I did provide you today with a little bit of value, but most of all, hopefully I just opened a few extra doors in your mind for what's possible out there. If you have any questions, let me know down there in the comment section. If you do want to learn about cryptocurrencies and investing each and every day, this is the channel for you. So I'd really appreciate if you smash up that subscribe button, and I will of course see you guys in the next video. Peace.